And even though that we might be moving a little slower, try not to get bored by that. See if you can allow this sense of navel radiation to live inside you well. So it's not something we often spend a whole lot of time on, but it's a really important thing to know where you have missing links. Is there a spot you can't feel? Now let's move up into the upper body. So sometimes this is a little harder to feel the center of your core to your arm. For some people, it's a lot easier. So start with your belly wherever your center lands and stretch to your right arm. And notice if there's missing links along the way here, or if you're compensating. How are you breathing? Are you breathing? How are you breathing? And then rebound the arm back into the center. And is your feelings, try the left. Okay, so we're just going to go back and forth between the left and right. And is your sensation an energetic sensation, a physical sensation, a mental sensation, a breath sensation, a combination of sensations? So really try to play with what you are feeling. If we are all energy, ultimately just all energy, try to, find the different levels of your being. Okay, now we're going to try the left leg and right arm. And just notice, do you immediately kind of do a weird tilt with your pelvis, or do you hold your breath? What's happening when you try to stretch from your navel to your left leg and right arm and back in again. And then from your left arm and right leg and back in again. Cross lines of the body are really, they're great. They're like our earthquake reinforcement zones. We have a lot of structural support by cross lining through the body. But don't just feel it physically. Can you also feel it energetically, this left and right hemisphere work that happens when we move from oppositional limbs? And now feel your arms and your legs. So all four of your extremities. We'll add the crown and tail in a minute. How is your breath now? I notice that when I integrate all of my limbs, my breath is easier. It comes more naturally. So just see what's happening for your body. And then add the crown and tail. And you might not be physically moving. You might very much be physically moving. So just see what's happening in your body. As you starfish out, we do this every class. We always have a moment of a starfish. So feel that now. Stretch from your navel to your 6 limbs. And then rebound without pulling our knees into our chest just yet. Just rebound into the center. Imagine that your whole body is your breath wave of expansion and contraction. It can be small, big, physically, but let it be energetic as well. Where are missing links? Can you feel a trace from your navel center, wherever that's landing in your belly or back, to your extremities? All 6 of them. Your feet, your hands, your crown, your tail. All right, now we're going to start adding more physicality to it. Take a deep breath in and stretch and expand. Squeeze your muscles. So all what you have access to, give a good squeeze. And then as you exhale your next breath out, pick up your knees, pick up your head, curl in on yourself and squeeze everything you have here. Very invigorating. One more time. Inhale, big open spaciousness. Search for your missing links. Exhale, knees into chest, head in. Let's go ahead and relax out again. Take a deep breath. Arms and legs are straight overhead now instead of out to the sides. Bring your right knee and your left elbow and your head up. Find that cross line. Inhale, both arms and legs. And of course, if you have a limb that's not feeling so good and you make an adjustment, do that. Crossing left arm to right knee. One more time each side. Bring your arms wherever's comfortable. Exhale, right arm, left knee. Head up. Inhale. Exhale. And then relax your head down. Bring your knees into your chest and rock a little bit. So even just a teeniest bit of abdominal effort, can you feel it wake up your core center? So spin your knees a few times one direction. Spin your knees a few times another direction. And then let's go ahead and do a couple of twists. So put your feet down onto the ground and just knock your knees. You can windshield wiper, and you can be lazy in your windshield wipers where one knee goes until the other one has to follow, kind of lingering behind, or you can keep your knees closer together. Whatever is feeling good in your body. Remember, be in your body. The more we're staying present with the sensations of our body, the more we have capacity to stay in the sensations of the mind. So the body's the practice zone. It's easier for many of us to sense the body than it is to stay with the emotional states. Stretch the arms, starfish one more time. Exhale, knees into the chest, head up. Okay, right knee into the chest, left leg long on the floor. Spin your ankles, open your feet. Enjoy, wake up the bottom edges of you. Such a special part of your body where we touch earth most of the day to see what it feels like. Change sides, left knee in, right knee straight. Keep moving the feet around. All right, so one last starfish before we get up off the floor. Spread your limbs, make a connection. Arms are connected to core, are connected to leg, are connected to crown and tail. Everything's connected. Deep breath. Exhale, knees in. And then roll over onto your side and come up onto your hands and your knees. Okay. So have a sense of all fours, and let's start moving through some cat-cows. So if we're going to work with this navel radiation and some cross hemisphere work and presence in the body, we need our spine to be really supple. This is our, these are the train tracks that a lot of our movement moves through. We energetically move a lot through our spine, as well as physically move a lot through our spine. We have a lot of forces that move through our spine. So let's free things up, open things up. Okay, and then move things around. Maybe move your pelvis around, maybe move your shoulders around. Just see what's here that needs some moving, that needs some pliability. Make sure you check in with your neck, your shoulders, your hips. How is your breathing? Find your way into child's pose, knees close or far, arms up or down. Find your back body breath. Now imagine, a lot of times when we come into the center of our body, our visual, because our eyes are in the front of our head and we use them so much, our body visual is often in the front of our body for our navel center. Travel it straight through to the back of the body. See if you can feel your navel center, where it lives in the back of you. Can you feel the the diaphragm kind of move pressure into the abdominal cavity when you breathe in? Can you feel the massage on your kidneys? Can you feel the massage on the back of your body now instead of just the front? Walk the hands left, open up the right rib cage and feel a sense of space here. Drop weight wherever you can find it, in your head and your tail. Can you reach from crown to tail in this pose on the breath, ride the breath. And then come back to center and open up the other way. Arms move to right, left side is stretching open. Notice the breath here, find all those little intercostal spaces. We have so many different muscles that support your diaphragm. Unfortunately, we rely a lot on the ones in our neck and shoulders, but you got a lot in your rib cage that are really good at moving your rib cage around. So sense them. And come back to center, up onto all fours. When we come into our twist that we always do, find it from your center. Radiate from your center to the arm in the air. Exhale and slide that shoulder down. Gaze toward the floor. Feel a sense of softness moving through your neck, your face, your shoulders. Once again, take refuge in the body. Feel the sensations. Rest in the sensations of the body. Inhale, reach that arm all the way up to the sky and place your hand down. Change sides. Arm up, arm down. Gaze toward the floor. Deep breath in, deep breath away. And then find that connection from your core as you lift the arm in the air. Place the hand down onto the ground. Curl the toes under and find the full expanse of dog pose. So whether you have a love-hate relationship with dog pose or just a love relationship, just see what it feels like to open yourself up, to find a balance point where you have equal weight in the front and back body, equal sensation in the front and back body, and equal weight in the top and bottom of your body, your hands and your feet. Can you radiate from your center out to your 6 limbs? Can you connect that into the yielding earth? Relax your face. Let the inversion, this is a gift. It's a restoration to have your head below your heart, to feel your brain fill with blood. Even if your arms are hurting you, feeling the effort, can you rest in the sensation of your brain right now? As you're ready, walk your feet forward and fold in half. Feel free to move, wiggle your shoulders, your hips, anything that feels nice to you. Look, you're so close to your feet, so check them out. Open your eyes, look at your feet, spread your bones apart. Feel the lift off from the earth, feel the reach into the earth. 4 points moving down, the arch is lifting. Try not to have push-pull, try to have melt in both directions, up and down. Feel the vayus of moving downward energy and upward energy. Find the half lift. Extend through your spine, crown, tail, radiating from center outward. Exhale and curl back in. Find that navel radiation. Inhale, halfway lift. Can you feel it in the front and the back of your body? Exhale and melt back down. Stand all the way up, arms to the sky. Find your breathing, reach, open up. Take a standing starfish here. Of course, if you're dizzy, make a different choice and so your blood pressure equalizes. Find your breath. If you can, look up for a moment, just a little bit. Don't crank your neck, but just find a sense of upward energy through your heart, through your head, through your crown. And then feel a downward energy, navel stretching to your feet. And find all 6 points. So it's, you could stay here for a while, I'm sure, but it's not always so easy to have your arms overhead. So if you have a shoulder that's bothering you, feel free to put a arm down. There's no reason why you have to have all your limbs up and out so wide to feel that centered connection to your limbs. Bring your feet closer together. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale and fold in half. Halfway lift, spine gets longer. Melt your eyes. Feel the gift of the inversion. Relax. Step your left foot back. Right foot is forward. Blocks are nice if you want them. Find your breathing as you start to move. So as we always warm up here, find the hamstrings, find the hip flexors. These big groups of muscles need a little bit of nurturing in the beginning of your practice so that they can support us in our standing poses. How is your breath moving? Can you feel that sense of radiating from crown to tail, expanding, and then finding that compression back in toward the center? Doesn't matter where you inhale, doesn't matter where you exhale, just find your breath. All right, let's hang out in the lunge. When you're ready, feel your feet, ground them, spread them, yield them, and then lift up. Maybe your arms want to go in a different place. Maybe they're in the traditional place. Whatever's working for you, find your breath. Extend and open through your heart, your collarbones. Find that sense of openness through the center of your body all the way down to your back leg. Can you feel those cross lines in the body here as we twist? So turning to the right, drop the shoulders down. Can you feel the connection between your left shoulder and your right hip? Can you feel some connection between your left glutes and your right shoulder blade? Just find your cross lines. And then inhale, bring that arm back up, both arms back up. Exhale and place your hands down onto the ground. Step back to a plank. 2 hands on ground, 2 feet on ground. See what it feels like to be able to radiate here. Expand through crown and tail. Feel that condensement. Now your exhale, your condensement might feel a little bit more strong. You might feel that hugging toward the midline, toward the center of your being is very stabilizing for you. Don't lose the expansion just because you need the stabilization. How's your breath? Let's come down safely, however that means to you. You can come knees first. You can just bring a forearm down at a time. Take a deep breath in, gentle, low cobra pose. Exhale and come back down. Find it one more time. Inhale. Take your hands off the floor so we're not very high. Feel the back body. Exhale and melt. Come up onto all fours. Find your breath. You can have your blocks handy if you want. Our left foot is coming forward, our right foot is back. Extending the spine. Starting to move here through some paces. Open up the hamstrings. Feel the whole back line open. Open up the hip flexors of that back leg. What are you enjoying? Are you enjoying your breath? Are you enjoying bowing your head down? Are you enjoying having your heart open? Can you let your practice be a refuge of something that's very pleasurable, even if it's bringing you into challenge at times? Can you let there be a gift of pleasure in the body? You know, the more we can stay in, if we learn how to enjoy what our body feels like, we get to stay longer. Everybody wants to stay longer when it feels good, right? So what feels good? Linger in what feels good. Come into a lunge. Find your way up. If your balance is a little off, don't worry about it. Just find support. Maybe you need to come out of the pose a little bit. Maybe you need to put your back knee on the ground. Find whatever's working for you today. It might not be the same as what worked yesterday. Remember to let go of attachments to the shapes your body takes. Instead, feel the sensations that your body has. Radiate from your center outward, come back home to the center again. Feel that fullness. Instead of just isolating little sections of you, bring yourself into fullness. Your breath is your best friend when it comes to feeling fullness. Let's find our twist when you're ready. So we're high, and we can keep our hands on our hips. There's no reason your arms have to be out. Notice if your leg gets wobbly, still hug to the midline with your inner thighs. Can you feel the cross lines? Can you feel the glutes in the right leg with the shoulder blade on the left? Can you feel the connection of the cross line, the opposite cross line in the front of your body? Breathing deeply. Both arms coming back up. Place the hands down onto the ground to come back onto your hands and your knees. So all fours. Have a moment of a cat-cow. So finding your way, arching the back, rounding the spine, taking your time, breathing, moving your head around, and then come to a flat back. So let's cross line the body. So take that right leg straight back behind you, feel your glutes. And remember, whatever you need to modify, you modify, okay? Take the opposite arm out in front of you. Maybe your arm's taking a different choice of movement. Maybe you can't be on one knee. So just see what's working for you. Feel the cross lines in your body. So your right glute and your left shoulder blade, find them to each other. Same in the front of your body. Can you find the crisscrosses? Can you find the navel radiation? There's so many potential things you can try to sense in the body. So if you tend to get absenteeism somewhere within you, where you just get a little void, There's so many different ways to go about trying to feel sensation. Put those two sides down. Feel your cat-cow. Pause here for a moment. Feel your radiation from your navel to your crown and tail. Any missing links along the spine? And then let's change sides. Bring the other leg straight back behind you. Feel your glutes turn on. Now let's take our right arm out in front of us. Strap your horizontal, or your crisscross, not your horizontal, your crisscross lines in the body. See what it feels like to hug your right hip and your left shoulder toward each other on the front. See what it feels like to hug the other shoulder and hip toward each other on the front. You have two cross lines in the front and back, so find them both. Breathing deeply. Can you radiate out through your hand and foot in the air? Can you hug them back in on your exhales? And then go ahead and place that hand and knee down, come up to dog pose. Extend through your spine and breathe here. Deep inhales, deep exhales. Root into the index finger mounds, relax your head. Feel the gift of the inversion. Feel the gift of your breath. Feel the gift of symmetry. Okay, let's walk our feet forward. Come into Uttanasana. Fold a little bit, move a little bit. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale and melt down. Starfish up, open up. Arms and legs get wider. Exhale, bring your feet to touch. Touch your toes, palms touch too. Feel this very skinny precipice of line that you're living on. It's like a thin midline instead of a thick midline. We're gonna stand on your right foot and lift your left knee up in the air. Don't worry if your balance is not so great. Let go of your expectations. Keep your hands right where they are for a moment. Find the breath. Reach up through your spine. Make sure your standing leg is supple, yielding, knee is soft. When you're ready, lift the arms too. And then as you're ready, we're gonna twist and open up to the left. Feel the right thigh bone move back. Find those cross lines in the body again. Deep inhale, deep exhale. And then swing that arm all the way back up. Place your foot down onto the ground. Stand on the left leg. Bring your palms together. Bring your right knee up. Before you move anything, feel the subtlety of where your standing leg is in space. Can you feel the vibes, the down, the up, the soft joints, the thigh bone back, that thin little midline that you're hugging toward? Lift the arms. Let's cross to the left. Try not to let just the upper body do this. See if you can feel your hip flexors support the posture. Drop the shoulders. Breathe your way here. And then inhale and reach that arm, both arms back up. Place your foot down, separate your feet hip width apart, and fold in half. Enjoy symmetry, enjoy inverting. Inhale for a halfway lift. Blocks are nice if you want them. Exhale and melt and fold back down. Let's step our left foot back, come into a lunge. Okay. Find your breath, reaching up and open. Let's put our back heel down onto the ground for Vira 1. Feel the grounding. Feel your glutes engage. Press both feet deeply into the floor. Open yourself up. See what it feels like to radiate from your center to both your arms and legs. Expand outward, upward. Okay. And then exhale and release the hands down. Come up into half split. Stand on your right leg. Left leg is in the air. Stabilize here. Feel the values of that right leg. The yielding, the reaching upward. Hips are square. Knee is soft. Can you feel the sense of cross line in the body by just simply putting your right hand on your hip? So we're not going anywhere. We're just putting our right hand on our hip. Extend that leg back. Extend the crown. Feel the radiation. from your center outward. And then we're going to tuck in one little tuck. Maybe you want to take 2 hands off the ground. You're squatting, one-legged squat. Maybe your hands are together. Maybe your hands are on the blocks. Breathe as you stay. Engage your core. Okay, and then put your hands onto the ground. Stretch that leg straight up in the air. Take a giant step back again. Virabhadrasana 1. Find your back heel. Reach upward, reach outward, reach wherever you want to go. Find the radiation from your center outward. Try not to compress your low back. Radiate from the back body as much as the front body. And then place the hands down onto the ground, plank pose. Symmetry. Here we are again in a symmetrical stance. Rebalance the body. Put your knees on the floor. Find your way down. Okay. You can have your arms back, out, or up. You decide where you want to be. Head is on the ground. We're going to just find those cross lines in the back of our body and the front of our body again. So first we're going to find in the front of your body. So and actually, if your arm's down behind you, yeah, you can still feel it. Okay, so arms wherever you want them to be. First, feel the front line. So we're going to press our right leg into the floor and our left arm into the floor. And just see what happens. Where do you feel this in the body? How's your breath? And then change. Press your left leg and your right arm into the floor. What's happening to the breath? And then release. Now we're going to lift our right leg and our left arm up in the air. Can you still imagine that there's still an echo of pressing your hand and knee into the floor as you lift your arm and leg off the floor? So try not to compress the low back. See if you can feel the integration through the center line of the body. And then release and relax. Change sides. Your core is so important here. Stabilizing from your center body will keep everything in good gear. So what does it feel like to have the crisscross strap lines? What does it feel like to have the radiation out and back in again? Are you stabilizing through your core? And then release and relax. For the sake of symmetry, let's lift everything up however you want it to be. Arms can be back, arms can be up. Notice if you have equal strength in your sides or not. Radiate. And then release and relax. Pick your feet up, windshield wiper. Do some lefty righties. Come up onto all fours. Have your hands under shoulders, knees under hips, and let's just move around a little bit. Swirl through your head, your neck. Take some time to sense your body. And as you're ready, find dog pose again. Long spine, deep, full breaths. Melt into the inversion. Melt into the symmetry. Feel the spaciousness and radiating from your center outward. Feel the yielding into the earth. There's so much to explore in this pose besides, just what your femur bone's doing. All right, let's go ahead and bring our left foot forward, coming into a lunge on this side. Come on up to crescent lunge. Once you have yourself upright, and your balance is a little bit steady for you, place your heel down. Now remember, you can have your heels wide. You don't have to be on a line. You can be, so whatever's working for you. Find your breath. Maybe you want to keep your arms down or out or anywhere you want them. Maybe your torso needs to lean forward. So in a pose like this, a lot of times when we come into a posture, we can overarch our low back. So maybe for you, the pose needs to be a little bit bent forward. Okay, so find what's right for you for today. Virabhadrasana 1. Big breaths. Okay, and then we're going to come forward, grab your blocks, and hop up onto that left leg. Lots of work in your glutes in the air and your glutes on the ground. Keep the knee soft, feel the yielding foot. Extend the spine. Find your breath. Take left hand on left hip and just explore what it feels like to connect right hand and left foot. Connect left shoulder and right glutes. To connect, radiating from your center outward and back home again. And then we're gonna tuck the knee behind the knee, one-legged squat. Arms can come off the blocks, out, or palms together, or hands can stay on the blocks for balance and support. So find what's working, engage your core, try not to let your leg do all the work. Feet are active and flexed and open. And then place your hands back. One more time, half splits. Big giant step back. You can straighten your leg for a moment, give your glutes a break, and then find Virabhadrasana one more time. Arms go where you want them to be. Legs, torso go where you want them to be. Where's your best place in space? Can you radiate? Are you breathing? Walk your back foot forward. Come into Uttanasana. Fold. Relax your head. Feel the symmetry. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale and release. Back down. Okay, let's take our right foot forward again. Come into Virabhadrasana 1 again. Okay, find your way up. We're going to come into revolved triangle pose, not to be confused with triangle pose. Revolved Ardha Chandrasana, not to be confused with Ardha Chandrasana. So when you lift your arms up, okay, and come into half splits again, we're gonna stand on our right foot, lift the left leg in the air. The blocks can come on a little higher height if you want them to be. Keep that leg lifting. We're gonna put our hand on our hip and start to turn. So often, let me turn to the side so you can see me. Often when we do a pose like this, I'm gonna hit the wall. Often when we do a pose like this, we let this hip start dropping. Lift the hip, see if you can keep things square and just let the torso go where it goes. You can keep your hand on your hip, you can lift the arm in the air. See if you can find those cross lines in the body, your earthquake support beams. Find your breath. Is there anywhere to radiate from? It's a bound up pose. Are you expansive in the way that you can be? Don't let the binding take your breath away. Okay. And then go ahead and come back to half splits and put your foot down on the ground. Halfway lift, hands are up, high on blocks or on thighs. Feel the symmetry, melt, bend your knees, take your feet hip width apart and relax. Feel free to wag your tail, your head. Let's climb all the way up to stand, reaching the arms upward. Maybe take a little bit of a symmetrical back bend here, open your chest, expand. And then round in. Feel your midline. Place your hands in the center. This mudra, this samastitihi, equal balance pose. Can you feel that? Do you feel equal balance, not only just in the left and right hemispheres of the body, but in the brain? Can you let yourself become centered? Doing weird poses where you're off in different movement patterns, lefts and rights, ups and downs, oftentimes gives a lot of effort to the nervous system, and it's a retreat to come back home into center. Okay, let's go ahead and place the left foot forward. The right foot is back on your mat. You can start in crescent lunge and then eventually place your heel down on the ground. So you know where we're going. If you need a wall for support, you can take it. Bring your arms in a comfortable place, support your spine. Before we go anywhere, radiate, stretch from your center outward. Come back home to your core, bring your hands down onto the blocks and lift yourself up into half splits. If you need a little more height, put 2 blocks underneath your right hand. Left hand is on your left hip. You're standing on your left foot. Your right leg is in the air. Your right hands are on the floor or blocks. Find your radiation. Expand to your limbs. And then as you exhale, start to find your cross lines and twist. Connect back shoulder blade and glutes. Connect your core. Find your breath moving you. Don't worry about going so far. There's no goal, there's no expectation, there's no destination. There's only sensation. There's only breath. Don't forget the center of your body is the center of it all. And then unwind. 2 hands on the block, giant step back. One more time, Virabhadrasana 1. Arms lifting, opening, expanding, breathing, radiating. Place your hands down onto the ground. Step back, last plank will do. Find your breath. Deep inhale, deep exhale. Let's go ahead and come down to the ground safely. Put your hands underneath your forehead. Curl your toes under, pick your knees up, and spread your legs wide on the floor. We're only going to lift our legs, so lift them up. Feel the stabilization, the hug onto your sacrum. Remember your core. And then release your legs down. Okay. Arms and legs are wide on the ground. You can put your forehead on the ground or turn your head. Radiate from your center to your limbs. Feel how your spine changes shape on your breath. All right, let's go ahead and bring your legs closer. Windshield wiper your knees, turn your head one way or the other. Deep breath in and away. And then let's just roll right onto your back from here. Find your breath. Before we kind of move into a floor sequence here, let's just come back to our starfish. So lay your body like you're lying in grass. I hope everybody's had an opportunity to lie on the earth since, we're in warm weather, warm time of year. There's really, truly something there when you lie on the earth. You have this beautiful ionic exchange. So if your nervous system is in overload, if you are stressed and grieving and going through a lot of uncertainty, of course you are. We all are. See what it feels like to imagine. Just go below the floorboards. Go deeper into the earth here. So that's your yoga homework. If you haven't lied down in grass yet, this week, this month, this summer, that's your homework, to go find a nice, beautiful patch of grass. And if you're allergic to grass, put a bunch of blankets down and lay on them in the grass. All right, we're going to bring our knees up, feet flat on the ground. Let's do this with a block between our thighs just to give us that sense of symmetry and connection. The block can be close to your pelvis, close to your knees, any width that feels right to you. We're going to find our breath and lift up into bridge pose. Really important to do a symmetrical back bend like this after twisting. Breathing deeply. Let the breath travel. Root into the feet. Be active. Try not to just passively place yourself and lock yourself. Be active in the breath, in the musculature, in the weight. Okay, let's go ahead and come on down. You get to repeat that one more time, or if you want to do it passively, you can move the block out from between your thighs and put it under your sacrum. So you choose your way. Inhale and come back up. Okay, so you can either do what I'm doing with the block, or take the block on the lower mid height and put it under your sacrum. Okay, so you decide which way feels more nurturing to your body right now. Don't listen to the ego. Don't listen to, only listen to the body. Okay, let's go ahead and rest, coming down to the ground. All right, if you have 2 blocks, we're going to do heart bench. If you don't have 2 blocks, grab a blanket to put underneath your head, stack it up, and 1 block underneath your spine. You can have a box like this and like this, or like this and this, however you want to have them. If you're short, then you may want to turn the block to be horizontal in between your shoulder blades. If you're tall, you may want the block to be vertical along your spine. Find your sweet spot. Okay, so remember in heart bench, there are so many different things you can do with the rest of your limbs. Okay, so you can interlace your elbows and stretch your arms overhead. You can take your arms cactus or wide. You can have your arms down. You can even have your hands comfortably crossed over your chest. Well, let me talk about the legs and I'll go back to the arms. You can have your feet on the floor, knees bent. You can have Baddha Konasana legs. You can have starfish legs. You can have straight legs. If you are really feeling the discomfort with your shoulder in this pose, there's a few things you can try to do. One, you can have more props and stack underneath your upper arms or forearms so that your arms don't go down. If you're holding, you can cross elbow over elbow and let the arms kind of come around the shoulders. This might be a little bit more soothing. So you can experiment with whatever it is. If you want the chest to be open, supporting your arms will be a better choice. So you do you. And if after being here for a little bit, you're like, ooh, the blocks are not in the right spot, then move them. So mess around until you get to your sweet spot. And breathe. Radiate. So now let it be energy that's radiating instead of physicality. Let your body rest. Especially let the head rest, let the brain soften back. Feel the release across the expressions of your face, your eyes, your tongue, your jaw, your cheeks. Notice the beautiful diaphragm. Breathing fully. If you don't like this pose, make a different choice. Right now, I want you to do something that's very nourishing to you. Can you stay with your breath? And just observe how it feels to breathe. Don't attach to it. Don't analyze it. Just experience it. Get comfortable staying present with the sensations that you're feeling. Maybe if we can learn to stay observing the breath without running away inside our head, then maybe we can learn to stay holding suffering of any kind, whether it's uncertainty or fear, someone else's pain that you are holding. Doesn't matter what it is. If it's strong, how do you turn yourself with your breath into those open fingered palms where things move through you? Slowly start to come out of there carefully. You can roll over onto your side, curl into a little ball on your side for a moment. And then we're going to come onto our back and bring our knees into our chest. Okay, rocking to and fro. One more starfish, open things up. Any missing links, find them. Exhale, knees into the chest. And then if there's anything you need to complete your practice, whether it's a hip stretch or a twist or a happy baby pose or anything that you need, you do you. And then meet us in Shavasana. Maybe you're just ready for Shavasana right now. The most important thing you can find is your breath. So if you're searching for something, find that first. And then let's notice there's no rush. If you're doing some extra poses, keep doing some extra poses. But as you come to be on the floor, can you let your starfish live in you again? Can you allow deep ease, a deep surrender into the earth, and still allowing the breath to travel from your center outward to your limbs and back home again? Melt into the back home again.
Let's begin to deepen our breathing. One more time, radiate the breath from the center and come home again. Eventually, maybe find any movement that's best. Go right along. Just allow yourself to come out of Shavasana in the way that serves you. As you come up to sit, take your time. There's no rush to get to a seated posture. You don't even have to. You can stay on your back. As you find an upright seat, pause here for a moment and just notice, how do you feel differently spending an hour being present with yourself, kind of putting the burdens off to the side for a moment? Do you feel centered? Do you feel expansive? Do you feel in touch with your breath? So let's offer our practice. Share your energy, give your gifts outward to someone who needs them. Namaste. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for being here.